Okay, now we're going to be moving on to single linear inequalities. If you look at the example here, notice that you're distributing and then you're adding like terms. Your goal is to isolate the variable just as you would in an equation, and you end with x is greater than or equal to 13/7. Because it's greater than or equal to, you start with a bracket, and your starting boundary is 13/7, and your ending boundary is infinity. Okay. Go ahead and try the following examples, and check your answers on the back page. Again, answers are here. Okay, let's look at compound linear inequalities. You look at the example here. When you subtract the 1, you subtract it from each side. Okay. When you divide by the -8, you divide from both sides. Okay. Notice how when you divide by the coefficient, your signs flip. When you divide or multiply by a negative number, you need to make sure you switch the signs. So 8 greater than or equal to x greater than 6 is equivalent to 6 is less than x is less than or equal to 8. Because your starting boundary is at 6, but there's no equal sign, it starts with a parenthesis. Your ending boundary is 8. There is an equal sign, so it ends with a bracket. Okay. Let's try these together. Don't forget your rule. When dividing and multiplying by a negative number to solve an inequality, the inequality sign switches. Okay. We have two options. We can divide by -6, or we can distribute. We're going to go ahead and distribute. Okay, we're going to subtract the 12, and we get -16 is less than -6, x is less than or equal to 0. When we divide by the -6, because we're dividing by a negative, we need to make sure we switch our signs. Positive 16 over 6 reduces to 8/3. Switch the sign. So it's greater than x is greater than or equal to 0 divided by any number is 0. Okay? And in this case, your starting boundary is 0, but it starts with a bracket, and your ending boundary is 8/3, but it ends with a parenthesis. Okay? Again, check your practice problems in the back of the book. Okay? For number 12, we're going to subtract the 5. You get -2x is less than or equal to -14. Divide by the -2, which flips your sign, so x becomes greater than or equal to +7. In this inequality, again, we subtract the 5. We divide by -2, which switches our sign, so x becomes less than or equal to -2. In this situation, your starting boundary is -infinity, and it ends up at -2 with a bracket. Then it picks back up at 7 with a bracket, and it leaves off at infinity. And your union sign means or. That's the end of compound inequalities.